اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to my channel, The Tranquil Soul. This week, we are exploring the topic, the locus of control. Now, I want you to look at this visual in front of you and reflect on this question. What are you focusing on? On this glass, the water, or both? Why? Because your response may reveal something about the way you approach life. So let's learn about this concept, the locus of control. The word locus simply means location, attention, focus. So it really just asks one simple question: where is your focus? External locus of control. So let's begin with this glass. Can I control its shape? No. Can I control what it's made from? No. Can I control how much it can hold? No. Whether I like it or not, this is the glass I've been given. And life is often similar. We don't choose many of our circumstances. We don't choose our past. We don't choose what will happen to us in the future. We don't choose other people's opinion of us, their thoughts, their beliefs, their comments, their behaviors. We don't choose outcomes. We don't choose results. We don't choose rewards or random events. It could be weather, it could be traffic, it could be accidents, it could be unexpected events. We don't choose every test Allah places before us. Now imagine, if I believed that my whole life was controlled by forces outside of my control, how do you think I would live life? I would probably think something like, if only it was bigger, right? If only it looked different, not this fancy. Or if only I had someone else's glass, right? Maybe somebody has a glass with polka dots on it and you like that more. Eventually, I'd probably just stop trying. I would feel powerless, hopeless. I might have high stress, anxiety. Because if I believe that everything depended on the glass and nothing depended on me, that is what psychologists call an external locus of control, in which we believe that the direction of our lives is determined primarily by forces outside of us. Okay, so now let me ask you another question. Why are you focusing on the glass? Is it because you were raised to just focus on it? Is it because you are so used to focusing on changing what you cannot control that you've stopped noticing what you can? Internal locus of control. This is not an advertisement for filtered jugs. Now, let's look at the water, right? Can I choose how much I can pour, right? Right? Can I choose how much I can pour? Yes. Can I pour carefully, ensuring it doesn't drip? Yes. Can I choose when to stop? Most definitely, yes. This is within my control. I still have choices. And that is what the psychologists, they call an internal locus of control. I don't believe that I can control everything, but I do recognize that my choices, my effort, and my responses still play a role. So instead of asking, how do I change this glass? Maybe I should ask, how can I make the best use of the glass that I've been given? A healthy locus of control does not pretend that the glass doesn't exist, right? So it's not ever an extreme, right? It is about balance. The glass matters, right? So the glass matters, the jug matters, our circumstances matter. But if all of my attention just stays there, then I am overlooking the options that are still available to me, right? So my goal is not to entirely just focus on this internal locus or just entirely just focus on external. My goal is to find a balance. My goal is to focus on what I can control and learn to find contentment and grow in tawakkul regarding what I cannot control. So, time for the tranquil soul reflection. You know, what's so interesting is I was working on working on this episode to explain this concept. I was just thinking about, how as a Muslim, right, I cannot live on either extremes. I have to learn to accept the decree, the ultimate decree, but I must also learn to tie my camel, right? So I must learn to accept the qadr, right? So that is something that would probably just go here, right? I must learn to accept qadr, decree. I must also learn that the water, right, that I saw gives me ikhtiyar, the ability right? I must also learn to then practice tawakkul, trust with when things go my way or they don't. And then I must also eventually learn rida, right? Contentment with whatever is ultimately decreed for me, right? So tawakkul, trust, and so it's just also another thing that I was thinking is just like, if I were to like keep pouring and pouring and the glass eventually overflowed, what would happen? Not just simply that the glass overflowed, right? But the fact that now I am left with mess. I have a messy table, I have a messy desk, I could have perhaps like ruined my desk, now there's water on the carpet. It's subhanallah, isn't it comforting that everything is not in our control? Because if everything depended on me, would I always know the right decision? Do I have the perfect knowledge and the wisdom to do that? Would I know which opportunity would benefit me, which one would harm me? Would I know what tomorrow holds? None of that, obviously, right? Allah does. And so I was just amazed at the thought of, perhaps, it's one of His greatest mercies that we don't control everything and that we don't have to, and that we're not asked to. He's only just given us what is ours to control, and He's taken care of the rest. So this week, as part of the tranquil, this week's challenge, this episode's challenge is called Locating My Locus Challenge, right? So locating my focus challenge. This week, Notice when your mind begins slipping into a victim mindset, because that's generally what triggers an external locus of control, that feeling of helplessness. Pause and ask yourself, what is one thing that is still within my control? Identify it, then act on it. It could be the beginning of changing your response. You can always make dua, you can always seek help, you can always focus on what is within your control. Remember, every time you catch yourself staring at the glass, look for the water. Jazakumullahu khair for listening. Inshallah you find benefit in this. Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'na wanfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna ilma. Until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.